All right, metalheads, this is DJ REM. You're tuned into the Crushed Beyond Dust show on Metal Devastation Radio, and I have Chris Violence on the line. How you doing, brother?
Good. How you doing, Rem?
Not too bad, man. Why don't you, introduce yourself and let us know what's going on with you and this and your Chris Violence.
Okay. Well, I'm a vocalist. My name is Chris Violence. Plenty of information at chrisviolence.com. But I've been performing live for about 26 years and recording, I don't know how many albums I've had over the course of a career. This newest one is called American Ripper. It's 8 tracks, and it's a strange album. When a lot of people buy, a metal record, they're thinking that it's just going to be one style of music, and this is just kind of all over the place. There's some thrash on it, there's some death metal, and there's some weird progressive stuff on it. It's a strange record, but I think there's some really good, strong tracks on it.
Hey, very cool. Well, I've been playing it on my show, and everybody has loved it, so I'm getting good response on my end from it, and I dig it. So.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
So, do you do all the music, or do you have some musicians in there that are helping you with this? How's that work for you?
I'm working with a friend, primarily a friend. His name is John DeBose. I've known him since about 1991. We've been in multiple bands together over the years. He's got a bunch of projects going on, and he does all the recording. He's actually in North Carolina. I'm in Southern California, and he does most of the music, guitars, bass, drum arrangements, and the 4 of the tracks on the album have guitar solos from a musician, a guitar player from Australia. His name is Jamie Page. He was in some notable bands, including Trinity and Black Alice out of Australia, and he does the solos on 4 of the tracks, and the rest is just me and John.
Very cool. So, do you go out and do anything live then, or no?
No, we have not performed any of this new stuff live.
Okay. Do you have any plans to do that?
No, not really. Kind of semi-retired right now from the live thing. Been doing it, for a long time, and kind of getting my head around having a little free time, which I've never had in my life. So.
Gotcha. Very cool. So, with this album, American Ripper, where did you record this at?
This was recorded at my home studio. Well, the music end was recorded at John's home studio, and I did my vocal tracks here at home, my own home studio.
Well, sounds really good. Props to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I'm actually looking at the album cover right now. Who came up with the design? And you're gonna have to. I've been looking at this picture all night, trying to figure out what it's a picture of.
That is the strangest picture. Actually, I took that photograph. That picture can never ever be taken again. I'm a train fan. I've always, ever since I was a little kid, I always loved steam locomotives. And the largest steam locomotive in the world, one of only 6 survivors, was sitting here in Pomona, California, and I used to go see it as a kid. And recently, as of last year, or earlier this year, Union Pacific made a deal with the Pomona Fairgrounds and acquired that locomotive. It's called a Big Boy steam locomotive. It's the largest steam locomotive in the world, and they moved it from Pomona to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And in the process of moving it, they had to tow it, and it took months of work. I actually caught up with the train in the move. It was sitting still in Fulton, California, and I took that picture from inside where the wheels are, where the drivetrain is. They had to remove some of the drivetrain in order to freewheel tow it, and I'm standing in between all the moving parts, and there's nothing more metal than being surrounded by metal.
No doubt. It's awesome. Very cool.
Thank you.
So
once that train is reassembled, those parts go back in place. You can never see that viewpoint again, so I just thought it would be awesome.
Yeah, that is cool, and I'm sure they'll probably never take it apart like that again. So.
No.
So, what kind of influences have you had in your life growing up, and even to this day, that got you into metal and got you into doing something like this?
Oh man, when I was a kid, just growing up, and as metal evolved, I don't want to give away my age, too much, but as metal evolved, I was right there to see it happen. I was there watching these bands, all the bands that people idolized in the 80s. I saw them all live when I was a kid. And the first time I ever heard AC/DC's Dirty Deeds, that was it. I was hooked. And then it just went from there. Every album I bought, be it Van Halen or the Scorpions or Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, I just found the heaviest song off of that album or the fastest song off of that album, and that was the one I loved. And when I finally got to Anthrax and I realized that heavy can go fast, I just never looked back. That's all I've ever wanted to do, is just primarily speed metal.
Very cool. So, growing up as well, did you have anybody in your family that had any musical talent or anything, or did you just kind of pick it up on your own?
No, I pretty much picked it up on my own. I had an uncle who played saxophone, but he was really into jazz, and I didn't live near him, but I knew he was a musician. Pretty much so he was the only musician in the family. My family, though, my mother and my grandfather were both heavy into music, so they had large record collections, and when I was a kid, I had access to that stuff. Duke Ellington and Cole Porter and Elvis Presley and the Beach Boys. So, and I was talking when I was a really little kid, so that was even before, I even found a radio to listen to contemporary music. So, music was always around the household.
Very good, very good. So, with this album, American Ripper, how has the reception been for it?
It's mixed. The Europeans, they don't seem to like an album, and I knew this with previous albums and previous bands I've released music with. They don't like albums that have a variety of music on it. When they buy a thrash album, they want all thrash. When they buy a death album, they want all death. And like I said, this album is strange. It actually wasn't intended to be a record. John and I just started recording, and one day he says, man, if you record a couple more songs, you can put out an album. And I hadn't really thought of it. It was just kind of me and him making music for the love of making music, and so it is a diverse record. There's a couple tracks on there, Burning Children, which has just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful guitar solo from Jamie Page, is a 10-minute, it's an odyssey, it's a ride, it's a strange thing. It's still metal, progressive music. It's probably more Pink Floyd inspired than anything, as is Down the Hall. And songs like that. I mean, there's a couple tracks on there that are strange, but the rest of it is thrash metal. And with the last song being a full death metal track, I'm also a big fan of the band Mortician. And the last track on the album, "Wake Up and Smell the Dirt," is kind of a tribute to those guys. I just a lot of respect for them.
Very good, very good. So, what are your plans for the? I mean, would you call this like a solo project? I mean, what are you calling this? I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a solo album. John was nice enough to do all this work for me on this. He, like I said, he's got like 5 projects going. He's working with Mark Zonder, Warlord, and I mean, he's just got a lot of projects going. So he was nice enough to offer his time to me for this, and I thank him for it. And he was nice enough to let me put my name on it as well, considering he did so much work. So
very cool. So what are your plans with this? I mean, obviously just to keep pushing and promoting it.
Yep, gonna keep. Actually, as of today, fans can go to chrisviolence.com and download it for free. I made an attempt through bandcamp.com to make a couple copies available for free, and then it just turned into a big nightmare, and I said, you know what, now it's just free. So people can go download the whole album right now until they finally shut it off. I think they'll give 500 copies or something for free. So if you go now, you can go get yourself a free copy at chrisviolence.com.
Okay, very cool. So what websites and social networking do you use besides what you just mentioned?
Yeah, chrisviolence.com. I'm also on Facebook, /chrisviolence, and Twitter. You can find me on both of those, and yeah, it's all there.
Okay, very good. So if I grabbed your iPod or MP3 or however you listen to music, what bands would I find you listening to right now?
Oh man, when I was younger, it was metal and nothing but I've grown a lot, and I do listen to a lot of different stuff. sometimes I'll listen to music from the 50s. Sometimes I'll even listen to dubstep. If it's something that's just crushing and evil, sometimes I really don't do hip-hop. I don't really care for modern music that's just used for marketing purposes. I just can't stand this modern, if it's only written to sell Pepsi type of crap. What's her name? Ninja, Nicole Ninja, I think her name is. Caught. I saw some video of her lip syncing again on some television show. J-Lo again lip syncing. I cannot believe that this is modern music and people are ignoring rock and roll.
Yeah, it's
they're
ridiculous.
Ignoring heavy metal. They're ignoring hard rock. They're ignoring rock and roll today, and they're selling this other garbage. And it's not even music. And it's frustrating to me. So I don't listen to that. I don't listen to country out of personal tastes, but pretty much so everything else is in my MP3 player.
That's cool. And I tell you what, probably 95% of the music I play on my radio shows is totally independent, unsigned artists. I mean, you got to play the old school Metallica and stuff like that for the fans, but I get so much amazing independent music that's all I want to play.
Absolutely, and I would have to say, of the metal that I'm listening to, almost none of it's signed. I picked up the new Judas Priest. It's a great album. I've listened to it a couple times, but instead I've been listening to Lords of the Trident.
Yep.
I've been listening to War Within. I've been listening to Cantation. I've been listening to Resistance. These bands that are able on their own to put out a phenomenal album, and they really need to be shown to the masses that this is great music. I feel right now that this is the best time that heavy metal's ever had. We had our big boom in the 80s when heavy metal first came up, and then it was kind of stomped out by grunge, and now it's come back full force, and this is the greatest time for heavy metal. If you're a heavy metal fan, the best metal is being made right now.
I'm going to agree because I'm probably similar in age to you, and I know exactly what you're saying. And I tell you what, the metal that's coming out right now, especially stuff I've been getting from Europe and South America, is just crazy awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, they didn't take, Europe and South America did not take a break from metal like the United States did. When grunge came along, they broke the chain. Prior to that, everybody came up and they saw music and they pushed it a little bit further and a little bit further. Then grunge came up and the musicianship stopped. People didn't know how to play the instrument other than two chords because Kurt Kilbrain. Okay, and it's taken another decade beyond that for the kids to learn the chops, and now they've pushed it beyond. And it's incredible. Today's metal is the best metal that's ever been made.
I will second that opinion for sure, man.
Cool.
So when you're not doing music and this kind of stuff, what do you do to relax? You got any crazy hobbies or anything you like to do?
Well, yeah, I collect vintage boomboxes and ghetto blasters and refurbish them. I have a fairly sizable collection of 80s boomboxes, the bigger the better. So that's what I grew up with. I grew up with, blasting music in the streets. And so it's just something I remember. I have a love affair of cars and motorcycles, too, so I'm always playing with those.
Very good. So without naming any bands or anything that you did this with, what I'm curious to know is, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at a live show that you've done in your career?
Oh, man, craziest things I've ever done. Probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me is I was on tour. This was many, many, many moons ago when I was a lot younger and a lot stupider and partying a lot, drinking, doing drugs, and I just doing my normal routine, just getting fucked up before going on stage. But I actually ended up getting sick, so I added some cold medicine to whatever I was normally taking, and I literally opened up my eyes on stage. I did not know how long I'd been there. I was singing, and the crowd was rocking. The band was roaring. I don't know how long I was standing unconscious or how long that had been going on. But, after that, I actually way curbed it back about 70%. I always liked to go on stage a little buzzed back in the day, but yeah, man, that was pretty heavy duty to be on stage and not even know you're there. That's really not cool.
That's wild, dude. Very cool. Well, it sounds cool now. I'm sure you know.
Oh yeah, no,
it's a great story.
I guess it's cool.
Okay, is there anything else you would like people to know about the new album that's out? Is there anything I haven't asked you want to make sure people hear from you?
Well, I think that there's a couple songs on there that really represent what I'm doing. American Ripper, obviously. Soft Mother's Embrace, The Working Dead. Those are real strong thrash songs. I think the album plays well all the way through. It might seem strange. I think if you were to put it on in the car and just let it flow, that you could get through it. Like I said, some of it's a little odd, but I think that if you gave it a chance with an open mind, that you could get through it. But I think the heavy stuff is just crushing. John and I already have a whole new album finished. I just have to lay the vocals on it. And there's a couple singles that are probably going to be released as just as singles pretty soon. So new music's coming. That's what we're doing. It's cool.
Okay. Very cool. And is that going to come out through the online metal promo guys?
Probably, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And before I forget, I want to give props to those guys for hooking me up with you. I appreciate it. They send me a lot of killer metal bands. So.
Yeah. Benjamin's definitely all over. He's a great guy.
So, okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in tonight. Like I said, this is recorded. It'll be. I'm hoping to have it up on YouTube tomorrow. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to Benjamin, and I got a bunch of your tracks lined up to play. We're gonna rock out to Chris Violence. That's what we're gonna do.
Excellent, man. Tear it up.
All right. Well, thanks again, dude, and you have a great night.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Bye.